Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. Hey guys, I am here with Cindy Cloward, who's the owner of Riley Blake Fabrics. I'm super excited to have Cindy on because, first of all, I've known you for, oh my gosh,
a long time.
It's been a long time. We won't say how long, because I've been designing for Riley Blake for maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Something
probably
like that.
10 years,
How
yes.
old is Riley Blake?
We launched our first collection in 2009.
Yeah.
The spring of 2009. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, you came on a couple of years after that?
Yeah, it was just a couple of years after that.
Yeah. So going 13 years.
Yeah, so crazy. Okay, I am so excited to have Cindy on because, first of all, I love working for you. I love working for Riley Blake.
Working with you.
It's
too,
really
Carina.
fun. And I thought it would be really fun to talk about what you guys have coming out that's really new and really fun. And maybe even a little bit about Riley Blake, like where you guys see yourselves heading, what you guys are doing. You come out with how many collections every single month?
I think we're up to about, 8. Sometimes 10.
That is so insane. That is insane. But it just really goes to show because you guys have grown so quickly. I mean, I remember when it was like brand new.
Yeah, we have had a lot of growing pains over the year. But I feel like we're hitting our sweet spot right now. We really are hitting our stride, and we're kind of where we want to be. So it's good. It's all good.
I think it's really easy to see that from the outside. It's harder when you are the business owner and you're trying to make it all work.
Yeah. No, we have so many moving parts, and some days I am really tired.
Yeah. Well, and not only is it Riley Blake, because Riley Blake is really the brand for all the designer fabric. You guys have Christensen Wholesale.
Yeah, that's where the distributing arm. So back in 2009, we bought Christensen Wholesale. 1999, before the 2000s. Wow, we're going back. So that's when I'll give you a little backstory. So about 2009, we bought Christensen Wholesale. It was a wholesale business that had been around 80 years, so it's been over 100 years now. It had been a staple in Utah for fabric and kind of other wholesale items that were bought out, and we bought the wholesale business. That's where my father-in-law, who was in the industry for over 30 years selling fabric. He owned family fabrics along the Wasatch Front, along with my mother-in-law, because she worked hard too in the fabric industry. And they bought their goods from Christensen Wholesale, a lot of them. And the owner had passed away, and they were looking for a buyer. So my husband grew up in the fabric industry, did not want to do that, but we were kind of like the silent partners or owners of this business of Christensen Wholesale. So we bought that in 1999. We live in upstate New York. My husband was in the corporate world at that time,
and you were a nurse.
Yeah,
during that time.
I was on hiatus raising my kids in New York. I'm a labor and delivery nurse by trade. I have my bachelor's degree, RN degree, and I worked at University of Utah for 10 years as a nurse, OB flight nurse for a couple of years of those. And I'd kind of taken a break, and I was raising my kids. I have 4 children. And so at the time in New York, I still have my nursing license. So I still kept my nursing license by education hours. But my husband was working for a wireless company. And then a month after we bought Christensen Wholesale, my father-in-law got diagnosed with lung cancer. And it was just a pretty devastating diagnosis because it kind of spread. And so he battled that for 3 years, and after 3 years he succumbed to it and passed away. And we had to make a decision. We had this wholesale business that kind of supported his mom, and it needed leadership, and we needed to run it. So we moved back from New York, and my husband started working the wholesale business. I still didn't have a lot to do with it at that point. And we just looked at it, and it needed a lot of work. It just really was, after my father-in-law had battled cancer, it just needed a lot of TLC, and we were just selling everyone other companies goods, and we weren't making anything of our own. So we launched Alpine Flannels. We sold a lot of flannels in Utah and surrounding states, and we launched that, I think it was in 2005. And we worked with a couple local artists, and we did fairly well with that. It was modest success, but we wanted to go in the big time and do quilting cottons. And so we had a friend that had a scrapbook company we grew up with in high school, and I met her in high school. My husband, she lived closer to my husband growing up, and my mind's eye.
And that's kind of how this connection
Yes.
was made, because I used to design scrapbooking paper for my mind's eye.
And they didn't, at the time, there were, I don't want to be too dowdy, but there was a lot of grandma fabric out there. There was nothing, there's not a lot I wanted to sew with. And it took me about a year to convince Marcia to go, I would make beautiful fabric out of your designs. And so we licensed with her to bring her designs to fabric, and it really was one of that instant success. Like we were so new and innovative in the market. People were like, Riley Blake Designs, I love the look of your bright colors, and it's all stuff I wanted to sew with. And I've been a lifetime sewer, but I'd never been a quilter, and I learned to quilt when we launched Riley Blake Designs. I joined the Alpine Quilt Group around here. I worked with some wonderful quilters, and I got the bug, and I love to quilt. And then we worked with a lot of scrapbook companies. Again, you were from that industry.
Yeah, that was like that weird crossover moment where
yeah.
designers, because I had just finished my doctorate and I was in digital scrapbooking at the time, and then got a deal with my mind's eye to start. And it was a little bit after that I had actually signed with another fabric company, and then made the transition over to you guys. Which
you realized you wanted to come on?
I just wanted to come to Riley Blake. There was so many reasons. First of all, we live near each other, so that made it lovely. Yeah. But also, I could see that you guys were innovative. Like, especially in those early years, you guys were doing something nobody else was doing. And it was so cool to see.
Well, and I think we really embraced social media early. I think we were one of the first to really embrace that avenue of promoting our product and creating an online community. Like, it was really important, that I had my sewing group in Alpine, but we wanted a bigger group. And I think it's important for women to bond and socialize, and we do it over food and all different things, but quilting brings us a lot of women together, and a lot of times you can't really quilt in a group. I mean, there used to be not a lot of people are quilting together, finishing their quilt. I mean, quilting is synonymous with piecing your quilt, but we can do so much online with this community. So we were all about community building and building up our social media, and it's been really fun. And now we have like over 200,000 followers on Instagram, and 140,000 on, I think, Facebook.
And that's at the time of filming this. You guys continually grow, which is so fun, and build that community. So here's the thing that I think is cool. We're going to show you guys. So if you're on the podcast, you're not going to be able to see this. So come on over to the YouTube channel if you'd like to see this. But Cindy's going to show us like what you guys are working on now. I like that you guys are constantly trying to bring things back. This is my feeling about this, but in a more modern, clean, beautiful way. So do you want to tell us about the new Riley Blake Batiks?
So one of the things that we recently launched is Batiks, which the brand of our Batiks is called Expressions. We mulled that over for months and months, but it's just, Expressions is just, you can express yourself however you want. And well, if you can see me, I'm going to show you some of our beautiful fabrics. So not all batiks are created equal. So like I said, batiks have been our age-old fabrics, and they're still made very traditionally. But like I said, not all batiks are created equal. And if you're going to sew with batiks, you need to make sure you have a good quality batik. So it took us a couple years to launch this. So it's been a huge investment. Is it because the
fabric is different? See, I don't really know this. So you're going to educate me.
So I'm going to give you a little story about batiks. Okay, so we worked with someone in the industry. Her name's Kat, who loves batiks like no one I've ever met, and she knows how to design them. but there's more that goes into just like when you design a piece of, like, on a paper that translates to fabric. It's very different for batiks because we work with artisans in Indonesia that know how to combine colors to get you a beautiful fabric. So when you look at this, now when you're talking about batiks, this is actually a hand dye. Batiks are usually made out of chops, which is spelled TJAPS, and it's pronounced chops. It's what they stamp the fabric at. That's the age-old technique. I'm sure it's been around 1,000 years. They use copper to make these designs, and that's a chop. These are hand dyes where they scrunch up fabric. They scrunch it up like this, and then they add color. And they add little bits of color, like there's probably 5 or 6 different colors in here to give you this beautiful looking piece of fabric. And then it's made in Indonesia.
So it's not a repeat.
No.
They're like hand making it.
They're hand making it. They make them like almost in small batches, like chocolate, like a fine chocolate. But you have to start with a very sturdy base cloth. So the sturdy base cloth is a poplin, which is a tighter, finer weave than regular quilting cottons. So when you're buying a batik, if you're buying a good one, you are buying a higher quality of fabric, because after this is hand dyed, then they put it out in the Indonesian sun to dry it.
Oh.
And that can really wreak havoc on, like, quilting cottons a lot. It has to be a little more sturdy.
Oh, interesting.
So feel that, and you can tell it's just
it just feels different.
A little tighter weave.
It is tighter, and I feel like I can see the weave almost better in a weird way.
I don't know. I need glasses on because it is much tighter.
It is tighter, but you can kind of see the strands as it's like going through it. I just love that. I feel like it's getting back to this like age-old handmade, which is what we're doing in quilting already.
Yes.
But like then to take it to this level feels like, I don't know.
So there's some batiks that, the best batiks in the world are made in Indonesia, and it's because they have clean water, because you have to be, and the dyes they use are environmentally safe, and we ethically source our batiks. I don't think, and everyone can say that, but we, pay a fair wage, and it's, because there's this misnomer that, don't buy a batik because, it's not ethically sourced. Well, Riley Blake Designs is ethically sourced. We know the mill, we know the makers of the batiks, and we know who makes our base cloth, and it's...
Oh my gosh.
So you might pay a little bit more, but they're beautiful to sew with. You can make clothing with this, and you are not going to believe how nice it is to sew with. In fact, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, I'm excited to look at these.
So,
okay, if you're on the podcast, you really do want to come over to the YouTube channel for this, because this is really, really great.
So this is a hand dye in the back, and then this is a chop batik. And black, I haven't worked a lot with black. I usually do white, but the black just makes the batik pop. And you can see the gorgeous design. So really, even though you have the same chop design, the variation in color is going to be, organic and moving and different. Mm-hmm. And so, so we have what's called elementals.
Yeah, so that was my next question.
It's a little blender.
Tone on tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tone on tone.
Yeah, I love
And then
it.
we have the chop, which is our basic batiks. But then the artisans, they create this color because we work with, that's what they train their entire life to do, is make batiks. They're batik makers. And they make the chop designs out of a cotton, a copper stamp.
So is this stamped as well, this blender?
Yes.
It is.
Stamped.
That is a stamp. And then they are...
so what they do, they stamp it, they put it in wax, and then they stamp, they start out with a hand dye. So they start out with a hand dye, mm-hmm. and then they stamp it with wax, and the wax gets on it. So, and then they take it off, and then they put more color on, and where it's waxed, you don't get the color. So,
yeah,
so right
beautiful.
here,
so it's like an opposite stencil.
Yeah, Yeah. So this is the base cloth right here, yellow. And then they stamped it so nothing will get on there. And then they probably add some more color, the reds and the greens in there. And then they take that off, and then they have to wash it in high heat to get the wax off. And then they sometimes will do one more color. So it really is a pretty amazing process. And when you sew with it, you don't feel any wax residue. You just don't feel it. But you get almost no fraying because there's a tiny bit left in there. So when you're cutting, it just doesn't fray because it has so much stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. So here's my question for you, Cindy. Like, if you buy a pack of batiks, are these out, by the way?
They come out they will by the time this
okay, good. So by the time this podcast comes out, these will be available, and you can buy them at local quilt shops.
Yep.
And
just
online.
Some shops don't carry batiks, so go to your favorite shop that carries batiks and ask for Riley Blake Designs batiks.
So here's my question: if I bought is it coming in fat quarter packs, or is it going to be more on the bulk?
Yes, we have both.
Okay,
we have both.
So if I bought even the same thing, it's going to be different because these are all hand dyed, so they're all different.
They're different, but they're similar. Okay, so they're so good at it. They can be consistently, but
yeah,
look
that
at
is
the movement.
That's pretty consistent.
But look, see, it's slightly different to here. It's just the movement will be different, but beautiful. They'll use all the same dyes, but it won't be exactly repeated because it's not screen printed or colored. See, there's just a lot of movement and color that you cannot predict, but they can put it the same space, but where the color moves to, that's part of the artistry.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. It reminds me of when I was taking a watercolor class. They said happy accidents.
Yeah.
That's what you really want, which is
it's like tie-dyeing, when you're making t-shirts, but this is expert level.
Yeah, well, and more controlled. So even though it is, you're getting all that movement, it's much more controlled.
This is
I love
elemental. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to make a dress, I think, out of this.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Okay,
it really is lovely to
so
sew
you guys sourced it, but do you guys go in and talk to them about color and what you're looking for?
Yes, we give them a range of colors because batiks is a lot about color, like having your color wall. And so the designs, a little less important than color. So we give them a range of color, and then the artisans work with this and say, okay, we need a coral red, or we need a
it's
range
just interesting,
of blues.
this one that I'm holding up for you guys, it's really a purple or a magenta on a red, but
there's yellow in there too. Do you see that?
There is yellow in there. Here, you guys see that? So I think that's why I was asking about the color. Did you tell them we'd love to have a red with a magenta, or did you tell them we want something in this tonal range?
That's where the artistry comes in. Yes, we give them a tonal range, but we kind of give them an idea. We need a purple, and we get the rainbow colors.
So good. Kate,
but you won't see it on a selvage, so because they're all dyed, there'll be no selvages on batiks.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, but true. Kate, you guys, I am really excited for you guys to find these. Go ahead and call your local quilt shop. Find out who's carrying these batiks. I think they're going to be really fun to add to whatever else you're working on. Do you know if lots of people are quilting just batik quilts, or are they mixing them in with other things?
True batik lovers will not mix. They generally will just do all batiks or all quilting cottons, but you can. Why not break the rules? Riley Blake Designs always breaks the rules.
That's what I was gonna say.
But a lot of times you're like, no, I'm doing my entire quilt out of batiks, and that's a-okay. You're in charge of your quilts. You can do whatever you want.
I love it. I will say that in the past, I have not been the biggest fan of batiks.
I have to say amen, me neither. And until we started this, I have a whole new love and appreciation for batiks. I really do. I just thought it was just not pretty fabric. And then when I look at it and really touch and feel it, it's such high quality, and so And the artistry, I just have a brand new appreciation for it. I really do.
I do too, and I didn't know much about it, but what I'm liking is I'm loving seeing, if you guys can see the stack that Cindy is holding, what I really like about it is they're still bringing the Riley Blake style to it. Yeah.
Thank you for noticing that. Yes.
Yeah. It's like bright.
This
and I think
not
maybe...
your grandma's batiks. Look at this, you guys. And I'm a grandma now. So this is your modern grandma with batiks.
I think that's what I'm really loving that you guys are bringing to the table with these batiks, that it feels bright and happy the way that Riley Blake has always felt to me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Anyway, okay, I can't wait for you guys to try these. Cindy, thank you so much for coming on. This is
welcome.
like such a treat. She is so busy. I just feel really grateful getting in with Cindy. So
I want to also mention we have Block Challenge starting in January. So we do so many sew-alongs at Riley Blake Designs, but that is really fun. It starts in January, ends in May. We do every week we do a new block. So if you're new to quilting and you want to come join a community of block makers, come join us in January. And
where can they find that?
On our, we have a Facebook page dedicated to that, about 12,000 people. So you can go to our Riley Blake Facebook page, but I also do weekly videos on the YouTube on how to make the blocks. So you're like, I can't do it. I will take you through each block step by step. So YouTube and our blog and Facebook
I may give you guys the links in the description and the show notes for you guys. So it'll be on the YouTube channel. So you guys, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, just go down and link it. If you're on the podcast, go into the description. We'll have a link there for you to go check out the block challenge.
Yeah, even like this is a sew-along with one of our designers. So we have lots of sew-alongs. There's lots of ways to get involved in this sewing community and with Riley Blake.
Yeah. So if you've been sewing alone... Now, you have no excuse. There is zero excuse.
Come sew with us. Come sew with us. We have a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks so much, Cindy.
Thank you.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.